Hey everyone, it's Colt. First, I'm sorry for the shaky footage here. I just wanted to introduce this video really quickly. This is an interview that I did with one of my students, Harrison, who graduated and got a job. He started out in construction, doing part-time hourly work. Now he's doing web development, software engineering, and he's really very positive, very energetic guy. He makes me look like I'm comatose. Oh, and one thing that I did not ask him on camera about is his salary. I did discuss afterwards with him, made sure he was comfortable with me revealing this, but he doubled his salary from before the course and after the course. He doubled it, pretty significant increase. And that is pretty much it. So please excuse the the sound quality in this video, and let's get on with it. This is Harrison, one of my students who went from being a construction worker to a software engineer. Hi, Harrison. Thanks for talking to me today. I guess if you could just start with like super quick introduction to who you are, where you are, what you do, that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. My name is Harrison Hemstreet, and I'm a software engineer and SpringBoard bootcamp grad. And I am currently in the Utah area. It's been an amazing adventure. I'm at work right now, and it's just been so cool that SpringBoard and especially you have been able to put me in a position where I'm able to have a full-time job that I love.
So you are working as an engineer right now, or okay?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a software engineer, full stack. It's been a lot of fun. I'm using a lot of the skills I learned at Springboard in my day to day.
So let's actually go like back in time before any of this stuff. Um, when did you first think about or like research coding, web development, any of that stuff? And did you have an earlier career? Were you in school? What's your the start of your journey?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I guess the quick and dirty version is back in middle school, my dad was working in tech, and he told me and my friend that, and this is seventh grade, like during the summer, we had like nothing to do. We were just out, playing in the woods and stuff. He told me and my friend that if we learned how to code in JavaScript, that he would hire us. And like us, like 13-year-old kids, were like, "Oh, so sick! We'll be making like 70K at 13. This is sweet." And so we dedicated that like entire summer to learning how to code on Code Academy back when it was like brand new and just free through their JavaScript course. It was really fun. I honestly didn't understand a single thing about it like by the end of it, and so nothing really came of it there. I eventually in high school joined an AP computer science principles class, and that was a really great experience. I, despite hating the class, I got a perfect score on the AP test. And so I just kind of stored that in the back of my pocket. I remembered, watching the local news and seeing something about a boot camp when I was living out in California. And so I thought that was really interesting. And so I just researched it. I jumped on YouTube, found Career Karma, which is an amazing community that pointed me directly to Springboard. They matched me with a boot camp really quickly, one that met all of my needs. And I was able to join Springboard, complete it for the most part within a few months. And then I started working full time as an intern. I fully completed it just as I got a job offer for the current place I'm at now. And so now I'm a full-time employee working, just doing some amazing things. We basically build shipping software where we build individual applications for so many different clients that we're able to help these clients who are small businesses ship their products all across the world. And so it's just been an amazing journey. And it's totally incredible that I get to sit down and talk to the person who created the curriculum for everything that I know. So I'm really excited.
You had the harder job, actually going to watching it all. It's easy to record it once. Well, obviously I am, I created the course of Springboard. You're a Springboard student. We're studying Springboard a lot, but there are many other similar programs out there. You talked about how you worked with Career Karma and they matched you and there's certain criteria you were looking for. Can you talk about what those are? Like what were you looking for in a boot camp?
Yeah, for sure. So in many people's situations, an ISA, and for those of you who do not know, an ISA is basically when um, you you say that you'll join a boot camp, and then they financially say, all right, if you join this boot camp and you don't have the money right now to pay us, then after you get a job, getting this amount of money um, for within this amount of time, then you will pay us 10% of your salary or whatever the percentage is for 1 to 4 years. And so for a lot of people, that's an amazing solution to their financial problem. And it gets people off their feet, and it gets people into a really good position financially. And that's awesome. For me, though, it just didn't make sense. And so I was in a position where I didn't have any money, but I also wanted to go to a boot camp. And so I loved SpringBoard's deferred tuition program because it's basically an ISA without you having to fork over a massive amount of money. And so I just really enjoyed that. And then and that's, that was the big thing. The second thing is that it was a longer boot camp. And so I felt like I was able to really get into the material and spend some time marinating in that. The next point is I was looking for the opportunity to speak to an individual one-on-one when I needed to. And so SpringBoard is really cool because they have the TAs that you can bother whenever you want. I'm probably like on their wall somewhere with a big red cross over my face because I asked so many questions, and like really dumb questions too, but they were so patient with me. It was amazing. And I was able to text them anytime and they were able to help me out. And then I also got a mentor, and I had a mentor from India, a mentor from Uganda, and then a mentor from North Carolina. And so with all these mentors, it was really cool to get to know just so many people all across the world and to be tutored by them. And they really cared about me and really took their time teaching me every single point. And so I just really enjoyed that. So those are the biggest points that I was looking for. And then it just happened that, when I joined SpringBoard, Colt has a reputation of being a great teacher. And so when I joined Career Karma and started talking to them, it was interesting that I was able to hear that the echoes of great reviews from Colt's previous work on Udemy and YouTube and so on. So that was really cool that I was able to kind of get that whole breath in there.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for the the nice feedback. And obviously, it worked out for you, which is always great. Can you talk a little bit about, the transition from working like in a boot camp environment as a student to
Yeah.
then a job, and what that was like for you?
Yeah, so good question. So basically, I was in a situation where my parents, they both grew up in single family homes, and they paid for college themselves, and they did it the hard way and everything. So they're all about making us, like their kids, do it the hard way too. So as soon as I got back from the mission and moved out, I was no longer being financially supported by them, and so I started working construction. That was great. That's how I got through SpringBoard. And then after getting enough hours under my belt with just doing small little projects here and there, I was able to land minutes away from me. And bonus, it was all remote, and so it was really cool. So I was working with a PHP React tech stack, and which is a funny tech stack, but that's just what I was working with. And it was a really great experience. I met a lot of amazing people. I had a lot of really great opportunities to learn. And after that, I was, just continually looking for another job. And I just happened to be contacted by a recruiter. And so that's how I got the current job I'm working right now.
And so this job that you're working on now, you said a lot of the stuff that you learned in the course is carrying over. Like are you doing front end stuff, back end, all over the place?
Yeah, so it's all over the place. So this is month 2 that I'm on for working here, and it's been really great because they're so patient with me, and they've really been taking me through and giving me tasks that allow me to get to know the code base bit by bit without totally drowning me in it, and that's been really great. So these past several tasks that I've been working on, they've all been very front end focused. But this current task I'm working on is very back end. I'm working a lot with the server and a lot with databases. Like for the past like 2 days, all I've been doing is database queries and trying to set everything up so that it's all right. So it's been a really great experience. And we're a smaller company, so each person is wearing several different hats, which I'm really enjoying right now because I get to have the opportunity to eventually grow faster than I would if I had been in a larger company instead.
Yeah, a lot of students or potential students always want to know, like, am I going to use everything I learn in the course? Am I going to, use that on a job? But what I feel like is actually more impressive or important is when students go through the course, they get a job, and then they're actually using different technologies or having to learn new things there. Because that's like the actual goal of, a successful student or a graduate is not going to be limited to like React and Python and JavaScript forever.
Right.
If you need to pick up Angular or Java or like some other database or whatever, like you should be equipped to do that. So it sounds like that doesn't mean it's easy, but it sounds like that's part of your job is picking up these new things and having to roll with from project to project or task to task, like a different part of the stack, which is cool. So this is in person so far, like you said, 2 months ago you joined. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. So my previous was all remote. We had a few times where we went into the office, but it's all remote because of COVID specifically. And now at this job, we are fully remote. And it's really great. We're like all vaccinated and everything. And it's been awesome. Really great accommodating with COVID and stuff. So that's cool. But yeah, just like how you said, I think that the most valuable skill that I learned at SpringBoard wasn't necessarily like learning, how to do a Postgres insert statement or, learning this portion, learning about hoisting in JavaScript or, anything like that. It was really how to learn. I learned how to learn in SpringBoard, which is incredible. I was speaking to my boss here, who's a great engineer, one of the best. And, I was like asking him like what makes a senior engineer? And we were talking about this individual who I know who went from being self-taught, knowing absolutely nothing about software 5 years ago to being the software architect for a big company here in Utah. He's a genius guy. And it was totally incredible because I was like, that's amazing. This self-taught guy was able to make it that far, that fast, and to just excel so quickly. And I was, I made another comment about self-taught engineers. And my boss, he told me that at the end of the day, we really are all self-taught because college can only take you so far. College can only hold your hand for 4 years or however long. A boot camp can only hold your hand for 3 to 9 months, really. But then after that, you're on your own to learn new technologies because technologies are progressing and changing every single day. And so it's just totally incredible that SpringBoard was able to give me those abilities to really grow that muscle to learn things on my own.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. But that also it's easy to say that when you're done, but when people are starting out, it seems like a cop out, or nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear like, this is the exact curriculum you need to
For sure.
that for life, or like this is you have to learn React and Python in order to get a job, and like it's the easiest way. But the reality is like the curriculum is always designed so that the technologies matter, but they're not like the only thing that matters. What matters more is what they are helping you learn in addition to the actual syntax, which is just like how to teach yourself, how to pick up these other things, what to do when you're stuck, like all that stuff. Nobody really wants to hear about it when you're starting out, but by the end, it's always like the most valuable skill that you'll use wherever you are at your current job or 10 years from now, whatever the world looks like and whatever technology looks like, then you'll probably be writing something completely different. So I guess a couple more things. We're getting close on time, but I wanted to ask you about the interview process. This is something a lot of a lot of my students, SpringBoard and just Udemy students, YouTube viewers, they always want to know about interviews, and it's a very stressful thing. Was there a difficult interview process for you? Did it go smoothly? Was there a technical portion? What was that like?
Yeah, so that is a really good question. I think that at the end of the day, from what I've heard after, asking, because I'm always asking people questions, especially people who are senior to me, what makes a good engineer, and this, that, and the other. And whenever with all the questions I've asked around interviewing, there's one central theme that I think keeps on coming up, and that's that an engineer can be as smart as any engineer out there, but what really gets an individual into a company is their personality and how easy they are to work with, because having a smart jerk is much more difficult to work with than someone who's a little bit more junior. And that's been a really great lesson for me to learn. On my last company, there was this one engineer who did not have the easiest time getting along with others, and that really put that really threw the team for a loop, and it really did slow down some of our projects because of a really difficult time with communication. So I would definitely say, for me, I interviewed at so many places, and I my worst interview was I was able to pull off getting an interview at Adobe for this DevOps position, and they were asking me questions way out of my league, and they were looking for someone way more senior than I am, and it was it was 3 90-minute interviews back to back, and so it was just rough. It was so rough. And I wrote down all the questions that I could remember afterwards so that I could study them and get the answers to them. But man, and yeah, that's a whole nother story about how I got that interview. But
I think it's good to be honest about it, and for other prospective candidates or students who are nervous about it,
yeah,
you're nervous with good reason. It is a stressful, difficult process, and it worked out for you, but it wasn't like some instant magical thing. You had to fail a couple times, it sounds like, or more than a couple. You had to have some awkward interviews and struggle,
for sure,
which is good. I don't want people to think like you enroll in a boot camp, or you take a course and you just magically get your first role. It's still a huge amount of work and stress, and it's hard, but it's worth it in the end, obviously. So congratulations on that, and congratulations on the first 2 months. I hope the next however many years of this career go as well for you as the first couple months have gone. Thanks again for taking the time and for chatting with us in your little sound studio. You've got a real professional setup there.
thanks, man.
All right, well, thanks again, Harrison. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you, Colt.